Hello, everyone, and happy Halloween! It's one of my favorite holidays, and I'm so excited about today's episode. There's just so much that I have to tell.
Hello, ghouls and creatures. It's me, the Story Keeper. And welcome to this special edition of the Robert Pagan Show. Up first, we have an interview with Landon Harvey. But before that, here is a trailer for our newest film, coming out next week.
Am I not special anymore?
Damien told me I rely on men to prop me up, and that would be my downfall.
I love you. And I need you to come with me.
And he held me, and I actually really liked it.
Did you guys kiss?
No.
Did he get hard?
Yeah, but I mean, he's 19. Pillow and a good dream for getting a 19-year-old hard.
This family. And it's about to split.
This endless feeling of pain. Oh, it's fucking gorgeous.
Forget it. I don't care. I'm done. Let the show begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Halloween episode. You just saw the trailer for Last Gas number 5, the 5th movie in our Last Gas series. So movies 1 through 4 on Amazon right now. Also on Fossum and gaybinge.com. Check those out. 5th movie comes out next week, so make sure that you keep that in your schedule. I am here with a special guest that I've been trying to get on the show for months, and he's had things, I've had things. I've been in the bathroom half my life, so that's, IBS, it does that, right? Anyway, here is Landon Harvey, everyone. Hello, Landon, how are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me, Robert. I have Crohn's, so I feel that IBS comment. I feel it in my lower intestine.
Exactly. So if I run off camera, guys, you know it's me. You know where I'm going. It's been I'm setting up for a new movie that we're filming in Arizona. So
Oh, cool.
And the IBS always acts up during the stress. So I just want to start with you're funny. You're a funny person. But I love ventriloquism. It's one of my things that I love since a child. My love for ventriloquism actually started in a horror show called Tales from the Crypt, and season 2, episode 3, I think it's called the Ventriloquist. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
So demented episode. For those of you who have not seen it, here is a clip.
Some cloth, some wires, some cables. He has no mind, no soul, and no head. You know it all, huh? Know it all, you little shit! Go on! You missed something. Take a look. Go ahead. Look at it! That's right, a mask. Morty's like me. He's real. He's flesh and blood. In fact, Morty It's my brother! My brother! He's being...
See, demented. Told you. So, Landon, what brought you into ventriloquism just in general? We'll go there, and then we'll talk about your trajectory of your career, because you're in Vegas now, right?
Yes, sir. The trajectory of my career. I love it. I saw a ventriloquist perform when I was 6 years old at my elementary school. It was magical to me. It was very real to me, and it kind of, spark something, like how you see people fall in love in movies where they see the other person. Oh, there's that moment. It was like that moment I was finding the craft, and it snowballed. And my introduction to it was as a performance craft and all this. And then I found out people thought it was creepy later, and I fell in love with the creepy puppets. I own a couple of creepy puppets, and so that's a whole nother that's on the ventriloquism spectrum, but that didn't come till later, my fascination with all of that.
I was about 6 when I saw that Tales from the Crypt episode.
Okay.
Around
Cool.
the same era, around the same age.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I love horror movies. And then I did the Chucky thing. Like, I really liked Chucky. I was born in 1986, so I had one of the My Buddy dolls, which were basically Chucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it scared the crud out of me as a freaking child. Yeah, and then like Annabelle and all that stuff really got into that. But like Goosebumps, that was another one that really got it. It's hard. I tried it. I did magic. I did ventriloquism. I did ballet. But
you got like a discount Chris Angel vibe kind of going on. I like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, this is the company logo. This is
okay.
Yeah, it's also my tattoo. So like it all, yeah. So get you very, very Chris Angel low budget. There you go. There you go. So
is that an Egyptian thing?
It is an Egyptian thing.
Yeah. And they're okay with you using it? Like you don't get haunted for.
Oh, I'm haunted for life. But I'm a demonologist too. So like
okay.
I like that stuff. I'm also making a movie about skinwalkers in Arizona.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, during the Day of the Dead.
Oh, cool.
Filming a narrative film, not like a documentary, a narrative like Blair Witch Project-esque, on the Day of the Dead in Skinwalker Valley. So I'm crazy. I don't know like why, but yeah.
That's an intro.
Yes, there you go. So you were originally from Texas. How was it growing up in Texas? How old are you?
I am 24 next month.
So you are a Gen Zer?
Yeah, or Gen X.
On that cusp? I don't know.
I'm somewhere. I'm lost. I always look up and I go, "What is 2000 to 2010?" And
you definitely had technology all your life, right?
Yeah, I grew up with my dad and I had the same smartphone, and it would slide, and I thought I was the shit walking around as an 8-year-old with a slide. I would, quickly slide, "No, Mom," and slide it, and then turn and open Angry Birds. It was the coolest thing. I love the action of the slide. I felt like I was the tech guy on one of those spy movies, like running around with my little sliding Samsung phone. And those things are destructible. You could drop that from a freaking balcony and nothing would happen to it. My mother was a 8th grade science teacher, and she used to go to all the football games, and I would hang around and it would still hold up. It was crazy. A little brick of a phone.
Yeah, I did not grow up with cell phones. I did get a cell phone in like 6th grade, and it was like one of those Nokia phones that were like indestructible blocks.
Yeah.
My first smartphone was a BlackBerry Storm. It was.
I remember Blackberries. Yeah.
Yeah,
BlackBerry had the thing before them. He had PDAs.
Oh God,
which, like a BlackBerry but shittier. And this thing, it's like a kid's toy nowadays.
So you grew up in Vegas. Would you say you grew up in an affluential neighborhood, or
meaning
did you grow up, are you upper middle class, lower middle class?
We didn't have like a gate. We had one of those like, the public is always watching kind of signs. Like you're being watched when you enter this neighborhood, but we didn't have an actual gate or a guard or anything. But I grew up, my parents, my father sold market research and my mother was a school teacher. So my sister and I always had everything, and we were very blessed on that front.
I feel that. I grew up in suburbia. I grew up in the hills of the Bay Area. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I definitely get where you're getting at. I didn't have a gate, but we definitely had sheriffs and people watching all the time.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like The Village. It was like The Village, by M. Night
Mhm.
Shyamalan. That's how I felt. That was my life growing up. What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be biased and kind of expected here with this, but I love it so much, and I'm a puppet fanatic. So I have to say the Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis.
Okay.
Because the puppetry and what they did to pull that off was amazing in every scene. And I'm a big Rick Moranis fan. So I'm gonna go that route, other than saying like something. I also love, if you count, Pan's Labyrinth. I love that.
Pan's Labyrinth is a beautiful movie. I would say that's more like horror fantasy.
Okay. All right. Well, it scared me still, so it counts.
What scared
But
me is I had to read. Like when I went to a movie, I didn't want to read it. I was like,
yeah, a foreign film.
I had
Yeah.
to read it 5 times. I went to see it 5 times because I kept on falling asleep. Every time I read, I fall asleep.
Yeah, yeah.
It just happens.
Saw what was it? The most recent horror film I saw was, I went on a date with a girl and she wanted to see Skinamarink. And she's like, it's a psychological thriller. And I go, this is I took a nap. I've never taken a nap on a first date. And I'm like curled up. She's like, you fell asleep. And I'm like, did you enjoy this? She's like, I'd see it again. I go, well, so would I if I needed to quickly fall asleep. This is cheaper than melatonin, but come on.
I haven't seen Skinamarink yet. And apparently,
Okay, well,
and
you're
you
not missing
haven't either. You haven't either.
I've seen enough. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is like, it's like Home's Funniest Videos if they did horror.
So Vegas, you're in Vegas now, right?
Yes, sir.
I live in Vegas too. Oh, I live.
Okay.
I can't say I live in Vegas. I live in Inspirata. I live in.
Yeah, I'm in the Unabomber's cabin right now, is where I am. It's an undisclosed location, which is why I'm wearing glasses. But
but Vegas is a little bit of crazy. It's a little bit of everything. Do you find that your ventriloquism has gotten a little bit sassier, a little bit edgier now that you're here we go. Now that you're in Vegas versus
now that I've left the nest of Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, I think living on my own. Well, I've never lived on my own. I live with an artist now. But detaching myself from my family and worrying about that. There was a point where coming from a stereotypical Texan family, which there's nothing wrong with, people grow up the way they grow up, and it influences you one way or another, right? But my parents were like, we don't think that you should be using that kind of language. And Jeff Dunham experienced a very similar thing when he was on Carson, and he called his mother after. And I'm not saying my TikToks are like being on Carson, but they do get, I used to get a lot of people watching them. And he got his mom said something like, yeah, I don't approve of you using that kind of language. And he's like, yeah, but look at the views. Like, I was just on the show watched by, so many. And so I think over time, since they've seen the success with my form of comedy, they've learned to accept it. They didn't probably think that the little boy with the little dummy at age 6 doing shows at the family Thanksgiving dinner was going to snowball into this, millions of views and sex jokes and wild looking cartoony puppets, but they've been as supportive as they possibly could, and I've been thankful of them for that.
Yeah, you and I both started off in old folks' homes.
Really?
I did singing at old folks' homes, yes, and I went and I did the little musical theater numbers.
Little Sinatra,
little Sinatra, yes.
Spice up the old lady with some Sinatra. They had me perform at the memory ward where people, all the old ladies had dementia. I'd go in there with one puppet and one joke, and I'd be there for like 2 hours. Yep. It was great. Yeah.
I would always love to go around Christmas. I got so many presents, They all
oh yeah.
Grandson, Oh, are you? Yes, I'm your grandson.
Wow.
Card. And now that's almost like that's like ripping them off. There we go. I was
now you look more like their nurse.
Yeah, now I look more like their nurse. Or their drug dealer on the corner giving them, their
Yeah, you give them that air supply.
There you go. So dating in Vegas,
Whippets.
how are you? Whippets. Whippets are a thing.
Yeah,
Whippets are a
yeah,
thing.
especially at the senior homes, they get around.
Yeah, laughing gas is the whippets are a thing. Although, like in California, whippets were a huge thing. Whippets are not a huge thing in Vegas because you guys do all the other drugs.
Yeah, we got Fremont Street. So
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, oh, do you guys do whippets here? No, we do ketamine. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's
yeah,
totally different. That's totally different. How have you
yeah.
enjoyed the dating scene in Vegas, other than falling asleep in movies?
Well, that was in Texas. That girl, so
Oh,
I
okay.
I guess I can blame Texas, but that girl, she was a goth girl, so I thought she was gonna throw me for a loop. Anyway, dating in Vegas sucks. It's a lot of everyone here looks like they came here to party and then they got stuck here because they partied too hard, and then they've just, dried out in the sun. Um, and that's the good pool of people I'm talking about. But a lot of women here, if they're attractive, they're like looking for a sugar daddy, and they don't have a balance of proper morals to be in a relationship to begin with. I don't have the funds for them, to be honest with you. Puppets are expensive, but even to make. But I'm currently dating a girl from New York for the narrative, and that's going well, and we have fun. So
Oh, that's
I
that's
have to
good.
I have to export, I have to import my women, but
I was gonna say you
that's
have to date
my
out of
partner.
state.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
They need an entire country away from you. They can only stand to be in that same spot for what, an hour or two.
Listen, not to say that I'm like damaged goods, but it is hard to date a ventriloquist, and it's hard for, you know, I'm always
Well,
writing jokes and
it's hard to date a
I
comedian. It is hard to date a comedian in general, but a
yeah.
comedian who likes to put his hand up something all the time might be a little hard.
Yeah, she gets sore, you know? Yeah, mm. Yeah, it's wild. What's funny is she'll bring me up, and because she's going to acting school, she'll bring me up in conversations, and people know me,
Mhm.
I in pockets, and that's always fun. She was FaceTiming me once from the back of a frat party, and there was this guy like grinding in the background, and he came dancing in the background. He came up to her, and I literally thought he was gonna start grinding on her or something, and he's like, "Hey," and I go, "What do you want? Better looking me?" like, like what? And he's looking at me like, "Dude, I'm about to steal your girl." And he's like, "I follow you on TikTok. I have so much respect for what you do." I'm going, "There is no way in hell." It was
Yeah,
the most bizarre. It was so bizarre of a flip. Like it's like almost like you pulled it out of a sitcom or something or a
yeah. Well,
Netflix.
you have a wide variety of fan base
It's
because
weird. It's weird to see what gets pushed where, and that's the
because
big shock to me.
anything where you're showing your armpit is in the queer community.
Oh
So
my, and that's
the queer
new.
baiting,
That's an
the
old clip,
queer
but that's
baiting is
that's a
like it's hilarious. So like I definitely know like you have a but like he's when I go out I talk to people like oh yeah like that guy on that gay guy on too. I'm like I don't think he's gay, guys. You need to listen to his words. You need to listen to the man speak. Just because he's in your feed and he's showing you his armpit doesn't mean. I mean, Sean Mendes does the same thing, but there you go.
Yeah, I do like crop tops, and it's hard. Um, and I like fashion, so I don't try to label myself as anything other than, wanting to be the comedic fodder and be this. Also, there's no haircut that makes me look straight, and so I've just given up, and
I was
I've
just
done
gonna say
this.
you either
Old
look
women
like
love it. They think it's a wig. They ask
yeah.
me where I got it. I tell them eBay. I meet these women I go to a hair salon. It's a whole mess. But
So you also have a ventriloquist school online, or
yes.
you do how so do you how is there a new generation that you are seeing of interest in this old-timey style of art form?
Yes, the old-timey style of ventriloquism. Yeah, it is coming back, and I don't think it ever left. It's just lulled in certain periods.
Yeah, it goes in phases.
Um, But I had a lot of people message me for years. They'd see my TikToks and they go, "How do you know? How'd you learn how to do this and this and that?" And I'd send them like a YouTube video, but it never really felt like enough. And so for $100 a year, you can learn how to do it, and you can meet all these people and listen to these conversations I've had with those that have inspired me. And you can see how everyone has their own tone and their own presence, and how they got into it. It's really fascinating. And I wanted to create an online university where you could say, yeah, I studied at Ventriloquist University and I learned how to do the craft, and I learned about what the significance it holds to modern day culture. And I mean, there's so many discussions on that platform for different markets and things, and writing, and something that is my pet project that I grow as I go and add to. We filmed a lot at the Ventriloquist Convention this past year for VU. So it's it's what I do to kind of keep the art alive, and to give back to the next generation of ventriloquists. Because if I had this resource, I would binge it all, and I did, in a way, before I was old enough to reach out to these people, and then they turned into my friends. So again, very supportive community.
Yeah, no, it's also a small community. It's kind of like, I mean, I'm in a couple different entertainment communities. The film community is way smaller than people think. Everyone thinks that the film community is huge. It's way smaller than you think.
You all know each other.
We all know each other. We all
See, that's what the vent community is like.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
Puerto Rican too, so we all know each other. So that's another community that knows each other.
Uh-huh.
But I also, in this day and age, comedy is one of those hard things to do because there's always someone who's going to get offended or
Yeah.
hurt with wokeism.
Right.
How do you, because you do fairly well of skirting without going, and how and where do you find that gauge? And do you think that it's easier to be a little bit more controversial because you have a puppet or or another being, another life form? Because your puppets are very real to me. Like when they have personalities, they're their own thing. So like,
Oh, thank you.
is that what makes it even easier? I don't know. Like, because as comedian, like I did stand-up comedy for a long time. It's hard. Like
Mhm.
it's hard to do, to skirt that
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I'd say so. You can get away with a lot when you have a puppet. I There are certain things that th- like it, it's interesting. There's certain things that you stay away from so you don't divide people, like sports teams and politics and this and that. And yeah, one time I made a fat joke about a lady from My 600 Pound Life, or one of those shows, and it went viral, and because it was hilarious. It was Jackie, and he was making a series of horrible jokes that I'll one day be canceled for. But it went viral because it's so shocking. And that's the beauty of comedy, is that you can shock. Um, was it right? Probably not. But was it bad? I mean, it's all just jokes and free speech. So, you know, I don't necessarily like, it's like every comedian kind of finds their line. And I kind of rest in this weird thing where my audience is like a bunch of teenage girls, and then also like single moms, and then the gay community. And so that's a lot to kind of shift through. I've got my audience as like Crohn's, in the way that it's just kind of everywhere and fucked. But I love it. And so I have a lot of characters that I try to cater to different personality types, and that cater to my different personality types. And every once in a while I'll post something, and people are like, and they'll speak against it, and I do take that into account. I might delete it. I recently posted um a photo of the meme, the Wicked meme, but it wasn't Alphaba under the hat. It was my zombie, and I thought it was hilarious because his face is green, and so is Alphaba's. But there was a whole controversy in the news with all of that, and the actress didn't like that they did a fan edit where they were covering more of her eyes, because she said it was like washing out blacks from history or whatever. But the truth was that they were just making it a fan edit, like the Broadway version. And I thought it would be funny to do my version of that, but I didn't know about the whole controversy and her speaking out. So I had hundreds of comments going, "Not cool. this one was not a win. Do better and all that. One day I'll do a special called "Do Better," because that's always what they say to you, like, "Oh, you should be aware. You should do better." Um, but you you test things and you adjust. I can get away with a lot with the puppets. Done a lot of Highland Killer jokes and a lot of horrible things um, that are very funny. So
Now,
it's skirt. I do skirt a line, but I'm not out there intentionally making waves. If it's something, it usually just slips, and it's because it's on a live stream and I'm just improvising for 3 hours.
well, yeah, I think the most political thing that I've seen you say is vote. I think I
You
saw a
know,
picture where you said vote at some point.
yeah, I did a couple Trump jokes and Biden jokes. Like I always do an equal amount of both of that. But, at that point, it's like they're caricatures of themselves.
Mm.
Biden is notoriously picked on for being what he is, and Trump is the same thing. And that's where the comedy is. So I cater to both sides, and it's kind of this mutual, okay, we're gonna agree that we can make fun of both sides and then still be people and put away our biases. But you can't demand that. And so it's easier for me to make fun of myself or how I appear or my dating life or other things that the public can attack.
Yeah, what you described was the 90s. Like it.
Mhm.
I grew up in the era of white chicks. Like you can't make a movie like
Yeah.
White Chicks today. Freaking great.
No, or
Can't,
Blazing Saddles. I mean,
or
God.
Shallow Hal. Can't make a movie like
Mhm.
Shallow Hal. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever seen that movie with Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow. Have you seen the
Yeah.
movie? Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
couldn't make that movie today. Like there's like plenty of things that you couldn't do. I totally understand that. Like in my perspective, like I made a raunchy, very raunchy horror movie about a twink killer. And
Mhm.
there were people in the gay community who got upset that I was killing twinks. And I was like, listen, I'm a brown gay man who's married. I'll kill and say whatever the fuck I want. Like, just leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Well, and you've got that twink representation for the community. So if anything, you're
Exactly.
bringing awareness.
Now, character development is huge for me in writing, huge for a
Mm,
lot of the people who follow my stuff because they're either filmmakers or writers or things like that.
sure.
You have to develop characters consistently and then keep those characters alive. Do you have a character with you that we can talk to? Maybe
I
see a little.
do. I do. I'm guilty. Let me let me get him. We can do this here. This is so embarrassing. Okay, are you? There we go. Hi, how's it going? I thought I'd be a douche and wear sunglasses on your podcast here.
Like father, like son, right?
um, take these off. After you take yours off. You know what's funny is my eyes don't get bloodshot. Okay, can you shut up? This is Jackie. Say
Hi,
Jack.
Jackie.
Hey
How you,
there. Just see
how you
ya.
doing, Jackie?
To see ya. Is this
Glad
your
to see you.
TikTok hater? Is this the kid behind the comments? No, this is not him. Oh, what does LD mean? Is that like doctor?
Actually,
LD
it means
rather.
Lord because I am a Lord. I am
You're a
knighted.
lord?
I am.
How can you
Yeah.
be a lord and run a Discord? I didn't know you could do that.
I don't believe in Discord. I don't have Discord.
Oh, really?
Don't believe in it.
Wow, okay. That
I
was
don't have an
convincing.
X either.
Yeah, okay. She said she was 14. Okay.
He's been at
Got
those Diddy
that
parties, huh?
Chris Hansen room kind of vibe to me. I don't know. Or hoarder or something. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of blankets and miscellaneous file folders.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that how you categorize your victims? Can you shut up? Sorry. We've had a long night. Yeah, it feels like it's still going. Okay. Everything is thinning. Okay. Mostly his hand. Okay. That's but she doesn't wash. Shut up. It's a nice
So
t-shirt. You're wearing that as a dress. Shh, quiet. Character development. What?
yes. So character development. When you are designing or magically birthing these things,
Magically birthing. That sounds painful. Especially because I have antlers. Okay, that's
yeah. Do you already have a personality in mind?
ooh. Yes, usually that's the best way to do it, right? Is where you already have a personality in mind. Sometimes you get the voice, and then the voice dictates the personality that dictates what the puppet is. With Jackie, yes, I had the voice first, and then we had decided with my friend Bob Rumba, he's like, you should have it be a jackalope because that's weird, and you can talk about the jackalope lore, and that was what will establish the comedy. And then doing TikToks. This was back when TikToks were just shorter. They were like 90 seconds or 60 or something like that. I had to get to the punchline quicker. So his voice, when I was kind of like this, it kind of became quicker. And then he kind of got ADHD, and then he kind of turned into my younger cousins in the way that he talks and asks me things like, "Do you have games on your phone? Can I have a Cheez-It?" You know, things like that. Look, a toenail. All right, don't touch that. And he's kind of sporadic. Yeah, kind of like your mental issues. Yeah, all over the place, right? And so that's kind of my anchor for Jackie. He's the kid in me. He kind of says whatever. He's kind of he's kind of autistic. He's just kind of I'm on the hair spectrum. Yeah, you are on the hair spectrum. Yeah. And that's kind of how stuff. So now I have an idea, and if it's either a visual idea or it's like a character trait, and then that's kind of how I center. That's the center for the puppet, and I build the nucleus and go outward from there. Ah, that was great. Thanks. Definitely
And
didn't lose out halfway through you talking.
physicality wise, the cool thing is you make a lot of your own puppets. So it's not like, well, you make all your own puppets. So when you're looking at physicality, is there something that is different than traditional old school style wooden? I used to have one of those like wooden puppets that were really like
Yeah, the
hard.
creepy ones, the ones that everyone makes to look creepy, and yeah, they're like the kids' toys.
Yeah.
The reason, and I have some of those, and I love them, and they're fun. The reason why I build these are called soft puppets, is because I can make them bigger, and I can, while they don't blink or move their eyes, I can puppeteer them, and I can play them on stage larger than, if you just have a dummy, you have the head turn and the mouth. And then the other features, but you've got the arms that just kind of sit there and the dangle. With Jackie, I can have him gesture and he can take up the stage and he can kind of hop. I can manipulate his full body. And so there are things that having a large puppet like that allows me to do.
Yeah.
And it's also different. It's different from what most ventriloquists have, and I want to be different. So that's the fun of it. I like that my characters are these giant cartoons.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, one of the things that I loved about the reason why I started following you is I years ago did a small tour of a musical called Avenue Q.
Yeah.
I got the experience of very much soft puppets, very much similar to what you're talking about now. Of course, I didn't have to be a ventriloquist.
Hey-o!
Could be happy.
Yeah.
Your humor and your style of puppets always reminds me of that musical because of the different varieties of your puppets. It's like almost like being on Avenue Q.
Yeah.
And so I've always wondered if that was kind of the reason, because you get to play around with them a lot more than the wooden puppets.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I love it. I also learned how to make soft puppets before I made the wooden ones, the hard figures. But I like the movement you can get in them. It takes a specific amount of puppeteering, but I love what I can do with the mediums that I work with, the foam and the fleece and everything. And I use a hard figure, but it's a little maggot, and you can't tell. But she's a separate puppet, and she rests inside the zombie's head. Yeah, she's gross. She's very slimy, right? She should be a politician. All right, sit down. Sorry. But yeah, and she's got a little slot jaw, and that's kind of an homage to the ventriloquist figure, but my way of incorporating it into one of my designs. But yeah, I like the versatility, the movement you can get from them, and the range. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Avenue Q?
I have seen Avenue Q. Yeah, I love Avenue Q.
You love it.
Yeah.
I was like, because that's around 2005 is when that came out, so you would have been around the time where maybe that would have been in your sphere.
Yeah, and I was a big theater kid all throughout, middle and high school. So I was in the top theater classes, and we were watching all of that. So
I had a feeling you were.
Love Honor, the new Q. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
You never got to do it though, huh? You never been in the show?
No, I didn't. And I loved Little Shop, and we ended up doing it in high school, and I couldn't believe it. And I remember auditioning for Seymour for it, and they were giving notes. This was a big year. Yeah, they had a new assistant director, and he's like, let's do little note cards that get for everyone that auditions. And I remember opening mine after it, and it literally said, "Don't try so hard." Yeah, that's got a sting. So, but anyway, they didn't end up using the puppets. They had it where it was double cast, and one of the casts, it was like an Audrey too, but she was like trying to be like it was like a woman dressed in green face. Yeah, you
Oh,
could
I've seen
cancel
that.
them for that.
I've seen
And
the.
he was like trying to seduce Seymour to feed her. Yeah, it was oddly sexual. And then the other cast, it was played by a male. Audrey too was played by a male, and he played it as a pimp, right? As a white pimp in like a green suit, and it's like he said, "Feed me, Seymour." Like, "Where's my money?" And it was very bizarre. Worst version of it I had ever seen. Both of them were equally bad.
That is not what I think of when I think of Texas high schools.
Well, you got to think this is theater, so it's
Okay.
even the theater teachers will travel to get work, and
Yes, but okay, but I will say, no sane theater teacher would have come up with that concept. Like that's just a weird concept.
well,
to have.
but does a sane theater teacher exist? Exactly. I mean, this guy was showing us, the old, what was it, the UK version of Into the Woods, where the wolf had like sculpted abs and a sculpted.
Yes, and they're on the swing and and then the puppets
Yeah,
and yes.
yeah, and
Yep.
he's like, "Look at the penis." I mean, like,
For those of you, here's a clip.
Quarter of a league further in the wood. Her house stands under 3 large oak trees.
Look at that flesh, pink and plump, hello little girl, tender and fresh.
There you go. There's a clip.
Yeah, here's a clip.
I love that. I love that version. Well, Landon, it has been great having you on my show. Everyone, after this segment, we're doing another segment where we talk about the legend of Skinwalkers. So make sure that you stay around for that. Jackie, have you ever had a Skinwalker? Do you know Skinwalkers?
Oh, is that like a skin tag? No. Okay. It's a. I also have IBS. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. What is a skinwalker?
Skinwalkers are demons coming from Native American legends. So make sure you stick around and listen about that. Landon, where can they find you? And when are you going to open a show in Vegas so I can go watch it?
Oh my gosh. I guess when I go on AGT and I make it big. But I'm going to be touring soon, 2025 Damaged Goods Tour. So make sure to follow us online, Landon, Landon, right? Venting, VENTING, Landon Venting online, everywhere on socials, and LandonHarvey.com for, info about me and the gang.
Tour start right in January, or when do you start?
It kind of starts whenever the hell do we decide? Yeah, basically, it's in development, right? Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you for having him. Everyone, stick around.
I hope that was a great segment.
Oh, isn't it nice not to have Robert hosting the show today? Landon's an interesting character, isn't he? So, we'd love to tell you about our new YouTube channel, Paranormal Salad, hosted by the world's best demonologist, Jax Ember. Make sure you go follow and subscribe to that channel. And here is a brief story. The first Skinwalker.
In the dawn of time, when the world was young and spirits walked the earth, there lived a powerful Navajo medicine man, Sosiu Nadlihi. He possessed profound knowledge of the natural world and the spiritual realm. However, Sosiu Nadli's heart grew dark, consumed by a desire for power beyond mortal understanding. Driven by his insatiable greed, he delved into forbidden rituals, sacrificing the sanctity of life for the pursuit of unnatural abilities. He turned his back on the harmony of the universe, embracing a path of darkness and malevolence. In a chilling act of defiance, Sosiu Nadlihi murdered a beloved member of his clan, a sacrifice to appease the malevolent spirits. With this heinous act, he crossed the threshold into the realm of the damned. As punishment for his transgression, the spirits transformed him into a creature of nightmare. His human form was stripped away, replaced by a monstrous being capable of shifting between human and animal form. He became the first Skinwalker, a creature of shadow and dread. Cursed with eternal existence, Sosiu Nadli roamed the desolate landscapes, his heart filled with malice. He preyed upon the innocent, spreading fear and suffering wherever he went. His legend became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the consequences of straying from the path of righteousness. To this day, it is said that skinwalkers continue to haunt the Navajo lands, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the opportunity to strike. They are a constant reminder of the darkness that can consume even the most virtuous soul.
Please like, follow, and subscribe. And don't forget to like our new YouTube channel.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!